Sorry, just a supplementary. I'm not encouraging there to be two classes of licence, one that has a contractor who pays the full fee and for others. But I take it that insurance would be the key in this matter. But are we still finding that, like in the old days, I think people used to go and they still had a licence 15, 20 years ago, and now with the renewal being annual, you'll overcome that matter. But there is just one full licence, and then they need to be registered with the QPSA to be a contractor. Will that remain with a national licence?
The national licensing will have a contractor licensing component within it. So although there's three types of occupationals, there's still a contractor licence. And my understanding it's pretty much on the same basis as it is now in Queensland and the BSA. I don't think that's planning to change. Obviously the concern will be down the track will be the nominee process, where the more and more you allow contractors to get a contractor's licence that don't have plumbing licences or unqualified plumbers, they still haven't explained yet how the nominee process is going to work on a national basis, and I think that's going to be the concern they're going to have to refer to.
Just before we take that next question, just like to mention there about licensing. Queensland signed the intergovernment agreement on the national licensing structure, and as part of their agreement for signing up was the retention of the Building Services Authority, and particularly in regards to home warranty insurance. This Labor government sees the consumer protection aspect of that as being paramount, and it's one of the very strong arguments put back to me when I was meeting with Minister Schwarten about why we can't get licensing of plumbing contractors over with the PIC. The other one was that we haven't seen the regulations yet. So as Chris says, it's likely the BSA will stay. We are, however, advocating very strongly with the government that the contractor licensing in the plumbing industry be processed and looked after by the Plumbing Industry Council, but there are two critical issues that are holding us up. One is the consumer protection issue, and in response to that we'd indicated to the Minister that within 2 weeks we could put in place an insurance regime similar to what the electrical contracting industry has in place, and that we would take away that concern of his. Now just bear in mind, if we were to do that, that would be a small increase in your insurance costs for the year, but the benefit would be that you wouldn't be in the BSA. Would you be happy with that? So at this stage, that's something we just said we could do that, and we said that goes your problems. But the biggest problem we have at the minute is the BSA sort of has the year of the minister day in, day out, and they're also saying they need to wait and see what the regulations say. And as Chris mentioned earlier, we may not see the regs until middle of this year. So it's holding us up a little bit with our lobby, but we have listened to the industry in terms of the concerns raised regarding BSA. We've taken some action, but as I say, those issues are holding us up. I know there's another question, but if I might put a question first, just before that one comes forward, it's to Eddie and any of the other representatives from local government. Have there been any learnings from the experience of the floods that would indicate to us that we should be doing things differently as we move forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think yes is the clear answer for that one. I should have given a bit of an overview. I might just start, if I can, and give a quick overview. In Brisbane we had 20,000 domestic properties that were flood affected. That doesn't mean they were inundated. We had 7,000 out of that 20,000 which were inundated. We had 3,000 commercial properties and 900 were inundated. So we're looking at about probably 7,900 properties that will require significant plumbing and drainage work to get them back online. I guess in relation to that, the big learning that we came across was that houses that are in low areas are really subject to sewage surcharge. That's a key issue. As I said, QU are currently working on 300 properties that were severely affected by sewage surcharge. And I guess one of the other things that it did highlight too was that stormwater is also an area where a lot of properties were flooded simply because the stormwater system got flooded and there was no flood relief valves on lines and or non-return valves. It seems to be an area that has got missed. When we go and do a commercial property, for example, we make sure that the sanitary plumbing is right, that we don't look at stormwater. And we had a situation, I think it was the Gabba, where every time when we get a flood, the Gabba floods. This time it didn't because there was a couple of hundred reflux valves put in on the Gabba, which basically protected it. So it highlighted the area where there is a big deficiency in stormwater. And stormwater, if it's not flood protected, can really affect properties that would initially have been okay. I know Brisbane's looking at their planning because they've looked at it significantly. They've done a lot of flood mapping. They realised that their flood mapping was probably not as accurate as what it should have been. But our ability to respond to the disasters is another thing we're looking at. Just for example, our fees and charges. Everyone's sort of been inquiring, are we going to have discounted fees and charges? We have put a paper up to City Cabinet to get approval. Unfortunately, one of the problems we have is that fees and charges that you pay can't be discounted by someone like myself, even though I'm the manager. It has to be done by either the Lord Mayor or City Cabinet. So we have an internal process that takes quite a long time to get fees and charges adjusted if we have a disaster on our hands. So it's been through the process for about 3 to 4 weeks now, and I'd say it'd be going for another 2 to 3 weeks on top of that. So we've talked to a lot of insurance assessors in relation to when the work will be flooding in for the applications. We've received only 3 today for commercial properties, and they're all McDonald's stores. But what the insurance guys have turned around and said is that they've got a delay. They're waiting for a report to come out, which is going to be done by the Insurance Industry Council. There's a few technicalities with regards to what caused the actual flooding of a lot of properties, and they want that clarified before they're going to pay out claims. That's going to have a clear delay, so there's a lot of properties that will take 2 to 3 months before the insurance company will say you've got the green light to go ahead and get it fixed. So we're looking down the track of 3 to 4 months down the track before plumbers are going to be on site, fixing properties, and then applications will be coming in. Some of the fees that we put up to have a look at is for a domestic house, if you have to remove all the fixtures and replace them. This is 3 to 4 months down the track. We looked at just creating a $170 fee, so it's just a one-off inspection. We come out and have a look at it and see all the fixtures installed. Domestic properties get a lot more complicated. What we found with one of the reports that we went through is that although a lot of people volunteered and were helping out, they were removing things that really didn't need to be removing. We had a lot of hot water heaters which were chucked out, which didn't need to be chucked out. So, and there was a few rumours went around saying if you've got a gas hot water heater, you've got to chuck it. So that wasn't the case, and a lot of things got thrown out which shouldn't have got thrown out. So it's good in a way that building codes were so quick to react and change legislation in relation to hot water heaters. We fully supported that. I wish council could be as quick. And that's something that the learnings we've got from it is we need to be more adaptable and a bit more robust about it as well. So I think, thanks.